The following presentation regarding the 2026 electric vehicle market, automotive financing, tax incentives, and vehicle purchasing strategies is provided strictly for educational and entertainment purposes only. The information discussed in this video does not constitute financial, legal, tax, investment, or professional automotive purchasing advice. The electric vehicle landscape is highly volatile, with constantly shifting manufacturer-suggested retail prices, fluctuating dealership markups, and rapidly evolving federal and state tax regulations. Viewers must conduct their own independent due diligence, consult with certified financial planners or tax professionals regarding their individual eligibility for federal clean vehicle credits, and carefully evaluate their personal financial circumstances before making any significant automotive purchase or entering into long-term financing agreements. Historical trends in automotive depreciation, battery life expectancy, and market valuations are not indicative of future results, and potential outcomes will vary drastically based on individual usage, local market conditions, and evolving technological standards. You are currently standing on the edge of the most volatile and financially dangerous automotive landscape in American history. Right now, as we navigate through 2026, there is a hidden systemic shift occurring beneath the surface of the electric vehicle market. It is a shift that legacy automakers, traditional dealership networks, and even major financial institutions are actively downplaying to protect their quarterly profit margins. The reality is that making the wrong choice on an electric vehicle today could trap you in an obsolete, rapidly depreciating asset that loses half its value the moment you drive it off the lot, while simultaneously failing to meet your daily transportation needs. Conversely, understanding the exact mechanics of this technological transition could present an opportunity to leverage historic market inefficiencies, potentially saving you tens of thousands of dollars over the next decade. If you are an American buyer even remotely considering an electric vehicle, a plug-in hybrid, or even holding on to an internal combustion engine vehicle right now, you are facing a minefield of misinformation, predatory financing structures, and obsolete technology being aggressively pushed as cutting-edge innovation. Consider the historical trends we have observed over the past 36 months. Early adopters who rushed into the market during the initial electric vehicle boom often paid astronomical dealership markups for first-generation technology. Today, those same buyers are facing a severe and unprecedented depreciation cliff. We are seeing case studies across the country where consumers owe significantly more on their automotive loans than the vehicles are worth, simply because they purchased right before a major battery chemistry breakthrough or a massive, unannounced manufacturer price cut. This is not a standard automotive market cycle. We are witnessing a fundamental rewriting of how vehicles are valued, how they age, and how they integrate into our daily lives. The internal combustion engine vehicle followed a highly predictable depreciation curve based on mileage and mechanical wear and tear. The modern electric vehicle, however, ages much more like a high-end smartphone or a personal computer. Its intrinsic value is inextricably tied to over-the-air software updates, localized computing power, and, most importantly, the underlying chemistry and thermal management systems of its battery pack. This brings us to the critical open loop of our discussion today. There are three specific, highly publicized electric vehicle models currently sitting on dealership lots across the United States, aggressively marketed with seemingly attractive lease rates and massive manufacturer incentives. On paper, they look like the financial opportunity of a lifetime for a family looking to transition away from gasoline. But beneath the polished exterior, these specific vehicles are utilizing a legacy battery architecture and charging hardware that is entirely incompatible with the next generation of high-speed public charging infrastructure rolling out nationwide. If you buy one of these three vehicles today, you are fundamentally locking yourself out of the future charging network, rendering the vehicle practically obsolete for long-distance travel by the end of the decade. I am going to reveal exactly which models those are, why the regional dealerships are so desperate to offload them onto unsuspecting buyers, and how you can independently verify the underlying architecture of any vehicle before you sign a single piece of paper. You simply cannot afford to miss this information, because the difference between buying a vehicle built for the realities of 2026 and a vehicle built on obsolete 2022 architecture is the difference between automotive freedom and total financial regret. This masterclass is designed to be your ultimate, uncompromising guide to navigating the American electric vehicle market. The exact problem we are solving for you today is the overwhelming paralysis by analysis that defines the modern car buying experience. You are constantly bombarded with conflicting data regarding range anxiety, battery degradation, charging network reliability, and incredibly volatile pricing models. We are going to completely strip away the corporate marketing jargon and examine the cold, hard data. We will meticulously break down the reality of the North American charging standard transition, analyzing exactly how the widespread adoption of standardized connectors by major legacy automakers is actively reshaping the secondary market for used electric vehicles. We will explore the localized realities of charging infrastructure, moving beyond national averages to understand how your specific geographic location, your housing situation, and your daily commute must dictate your purchasing strategy. Furthermore, we will deeply investigate the intricate financial mechanics of the 2026 automotive market. We will dissect the current state of federal and state tax incentives, examining how the point-of-sale credit system has fundamentally altered dealership negotiation tactics. Dealerships have rapidly adapted to these new regulations, often engineering their pricing models to absorb the federal incentive, effectively removing the financial benefit from the consumer and transferring it directly to their bottom line. We will provide you with step-by-step negotiation frameworks based on actual market data, allowing you to bypass these deceptive pricing structures and secure a vehicle at its true market value. We will also explore the critical decision between leasing and financing in the current technological climate. Given the rapid advancement in battery energy density and the impending commercialization of next-generation solid-state battery technology, we will analyze whether it is financially prudent to take long-term ownership of current-generation lithium-ion technology, or if short-term leasing strategies offer a necessary and protective shield against catastrophic market depreciation. Moreover, the true cost of electric vehicle ownership extends far beyond the manufacturer's suggested retail price and the standard dealership documentation fees. We must rigorously analyze the hidden, ongoing expenses that are frequently omitted from traditional automotive reviews and mainstream media coverage. For instance, the actuarial tables utilized by major insurance carriers have undergone a massive recalibration in the past 24 months. Electric vehicles, due to their specialized structural battery packs and the extreme scarcity of certified high-voltage collision repair technicians, are experiencing wildly unpredictable insurance premiums. We will examine case studies demonstrating how identical driving records can yield insurance quotes that vary by hundreds of dollars a month, depending entirely on the specific battery architecture and repairability index of the chosen vehicle. Furthermore, as the national fleet gradually transitions away from traditional gasoline, individual state legislatures are actively rewriting taxation models to recoup lost fuel tax revenue. We will dissect the current landscape of punitive electric vehicle registration fees and localized mileage tracking taxes, ensuring you can accurately project your total cost of ownership over a comprehensive 5-year horizon. We must also firmly address the profound geographical divide in the current electric vehicle experience. The strategies that lead to a highly successful electric vehicle purchase in a dense, infrastructure-rich urban environment like Los Angeles or New York City are fundamentally incompatible with the realities of ownership in rural Texas, the American Midwest, or the mountainous regions of the Pacific Northwest. We will break down the specific infrastructure deployment rates across the country, analyzing the crucial density of high-speed direct current fast chargers versus the availability of Level 2 destination charging. You will learn how to audit your own daily driving patterns, mapping your regular routes against the verified reliability scores of different charging networks, rather than relying on the wildly optimistic coverage maps provided by the automotive manufacturers themselves. We are going to look at the undeniable historical trends of cold weather range degradation, providing you with the exact formulas and thermal management insights needed to calculate the true operational range of any vehicle when temperatures plummet, ensuring you are never left stranded by misleading, best-case scenario marketing metrics. By the end of this comprehensive analysis, you will possess a data-driven understanding of the landscape, empowering you to make a highly calculated purchasing decision. Let us immediately examine the most critical shift defining the 2026 automotive landscape, which is the complete standardization of the North American Charging Standard, or NACS. For years, the industry was fragmented. You had Tesla utilizing their proprietary connector, while almost every other legacy automaker forced the combined charging system, heavily known as CCS, onto the American public. But historical trends show us that hardware fragmentation ultimately collapses under consumer frustration. Now that we are firmly in 2026, the promised transition has materialized. Major manufacturers like Ford, General Motors, Rivian, and Volvo are rolling vehicles off the assembly line with native NACS ports built directly into the chassis. This is not just a minor design update. It is a fundamental hardware pivot that completely redefines the resale value of every single electric vehicle manufactured before this standardization took place. Imagine if you are planning a cross-country family road trip this summer from Chicago to Denver. You are driving a 2023 model year electric SUV, equipped with the old CCS port. You pull into a massive, newly constructed fast-charging plaza in Nebraska. Out of 20 available high-speed dispensers, 18 are dedicated exclusively to the native NACS standard, leaving you to compete with a dozen other legacy vehicle owners for the 2 remaining CCS chargers, assuming those chargers are even operational. Or you are forced to rely on bulky, expensive third-party adapters that often bottleneck the charging speed, significantly increasing your time spent waiting at the station. This is not a hypothetical situation. This is the exact daily reality for thousands of drivers who purchased early-generation hardware. The market is actively punishing those legacy vehicles through aggressive depreciation curves. Let us look at a specific case study to illustrate this financial impact. Consider Michael, an IT professional living in suburban Atlanta. In late 2023, Michael purchased a brand new, highly rated electric crossover for $55,000. At the time, it featured state-of-the-art specifications. However, less than 6 months after his purchase, the manufacturer announced a wholesale shift to the NACS charging port for all future models, starting with the 2026 production year. Almost overnight, the secondary market valuation of Michael's crossover plummeted. Dealerships and trade-in algorithms immediately recognized that his vehicle utilized a dead-end charging architecture. Today, in 2026, Michael is attempting to trade in that exact same vehicle, only to discover it has retained barely 40% of its original purchase price. His automotive loan balance is significantly higher than the wholesale value of the car, trapping him in negative equity. This catastrophic depreciation was not caused by mechanical failure or excessive mileage. It was caused entirely by a localized hardware obsolescence that the manufacturer knew was coming, yet conveniently failed to mention during the sales process. This depreciation trap brings us to the underlying chemistry powering these vehicles, which has also undergone a radical transformation by 2026. The conversation is no longer simply about how large the battery pack is, but rather the specific elemental composition of the cells themselves. For the past decade, the industry relied heavily on nickel-manganese-cobalt chemistries. These batteries offered excellent energy density, providing long driving ranges, but they came with severe operational restrictions. Owners were constantly warned never to charge past 80% on a daily basis to prevent accelerated degradation of the internal cell structures. However, historical trends over the last 24 months have shown a massive industry pivot toward lithium iron phosphate technology for standard range vehicles. Lithium iron phosphate, or LFP, fundamentally alters the ownership experience. These packs are far more robust, significantly less prone to thermal runaway, and crucially, they actually require the owner to charge to 100% regularly to maintain accurate battery management system calibrations. Imagine if you were still operating under the outdated advice of the early 2020s, actively limiting your 2026 LFP-equipped vehicle to an 80% charge out of misplaced fear. You would be artificially restricting your own driving range and confusing the internal software of the vehicle. Dealerships are notoriously terrible at explaining this chemical distinction to buyers. You could be walking onto a lot today comparing 2 vehicles that look identical on the exterior, but one utilizes legacy chemistry that degrades rapidly if fully charged, while the other features 2026-era chemistry designed to be maxed out every single night. If you do not know how to identify the specific battery code on the manufacturer's window sticker, you are flying entirely blind into a $50,000 transaction. Furthermore, the geographical rollout of infrastructure in 2026 is creating 2 entirely different Americas when it comes to electric vehicle ownership. The National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Formula Program, which injected billions of federal dollars into the states, has produced highly uneven results. If you live along the major interstate corridors of California, the Northeast, or the Pacific Northwest, you are currently experiencing a golden age of charging redundancy. You have multiple highly rated networks competing for your charging dollars, driving down kilowatt-hour prices and forcing high reliability standards. But if you step outside those densely populated corridors, the reality is starkly different. Let us examine another case study involving David from rural Montana. David analyzed the national average statistics for charging station deployment and assumed his region was keeping pace. He purchased a modern electric truck for his agricultural business, expecting seamless integration. However, the potential outcomes in rural deployment have been severely delayed by utility grid connection backlogs and a lack of localized transformer availability. David quickly discovered that the only high-speed charger within a 50-mile radius of his property is frequently derated, meaning it only outputs a fraction of its advertised speed, turning a promised 20-minute charging session into an agonizing 2-hour ordeal. His productivity has plummeted because he relied on macro-level national data, instead of conducting a micro-level audit of the specific utility grid capabilities in his exact county. You cannot rely on national averages in 2026. You must evaluate the exact route you drive every single Tuesday morning. As we navigate deeper into this landscape, you must understand that the vehicles themselves, their charging ports, and their internal battery chemistries are only half of the battlefield. The moment you decide which specific technology stack actually fits your life, you have to survive the financial gauntlet of the modern dealership. The way these vehicles are priced, financed, and subsidized has been completely restructured this year. There is a specific mathematical loophole that major automotive lending institutions are currently exploiting in 2026, wrapping exorbitant hidden fees into seemingly low monthly lease payments, specifically targeting buyers who are utilizing the point-of-sale federal tax credit. They are effectively legally stealing the government subsidy right out of your pocket before you even sign the initial paperwork, and they are using your own lack of financing expertise to do it. If you do not know the exact formula to calculate the underlying money factor and residual value manipulation happening on the back end of these contracts, you will lose thousands. I am going to show you the exact paperwork you need to demand from the finance manager line by line to expose this exact trap. When you sit down in that highly orchestrated finance office, the very first document you must legally demand to see before discussing monthly payments is the complete lease worksheet, specifically focusing on the gross capitalized cost, the capitalized cost reduction, the exact residual value percentage, and the unmarked up money factor. The entire automotive industry has fundamentally shifted its sales strategy in 2026 to push leasing over traditional financing. This is not because they want to protect you from technological obsolescence, but rather because of a massive regulatory loophole regarding the federal point-of-sale clean vehicle credit. Under current tax law, when you purchase an electric vehicle traditionally, you must meet stringent individual income requirements, and the vehicle itself must pass complex battery sourcing and final assembly mandates to qualify for the full tax incentive. However, historical trends over the past few years have solidified a massive commercial leasing loophole. When a massive financial institution or captive lender purchases that exact same vehicle to lease it back to you, they are classified as a commercial entity. This entirely bypasses the consumer income limits and the battery sourcing requirements. The bank receives the federal incentive directly, and they are theoretically supposed to pass that massive savings down to you in the form of a capitalized cost reduction, lowering your principal balance. But here is the exact trap that American buyers are falling into every single day in 2026. Finance managers are expertly camouflaging the absorption of that credit. Imagine if you are a buyer looking at a brand new electric crossover with a sticker price of $50,000. You know the bank is getting that commercial credit, so you expect your lease balance to drop to $42,500. The dealership will gladly show you paperwork reflecting that exact capitalized cost reduction. You feel victorious. However, while you are distracted by that single line item, the finance manager is quietly manipulating two entirely different metrics on the back page of the contract to steal every single penny of that savings right back. They execute this through money factor markup and predatory hard-ad accessories. Let us look at a specific case study involving Sarah, a public school administrator living in Columbus, Ohio. Sarah walked into a major legacy dealership to lease a highly advertised 2026 electric sedan. She negotiated a phenomenal purchase price and verified that the massive federal lease cash was applied to her contract. She thought she had one, but what Sarah did not know was how to calculate a money factor. The money factor is the automotive leasing equivalent of an annual percentage rate, calculated by taking the interest rate and dividing it by 2,400. The captive lender for that specific manufacturer had set the base by rate, meaning the absolute lowest interest rate they would approve for top-tier credit, at a money factor of 0.00150. That translates to an incredibly reasonable interest rate of roughly 3.6%. But the dealership is legally allowed to mark up that money factor for pure profit without ever disclosing the baseline rate to the consumer. The finance manager inflated Sarah's money factor to 0.00300, which is a staggering 7.2% interest rate. Because the math of an automotive lease is intentionally opaque and confusing, Sarah only looked at her final monthly payment, which seemed average for the market. She signed the paperwork, completely unaware that the dealership had effectively pocketed the entire value of the federal tax credit through covert interest rate manipulation over the 36-month term. To protect yourself from these potential outcomes, you must fundamentally change your approach to the finance office. You are not negotiating a monthly payment. You are negotiating mathematical variables. You must ask the finance manager directly for the base buy rate from the captive lender. If they refuse to provide it, or claim they only work in monthly payments, you must immediately walk away from the transaction. You must also fiercely protect the residual value of the vehicle. The residual value is the mathematically predicted worth of the car at the end of the lease term, expressed as a percentage of the original sticker price. Lenders use massive amounts of data to predict this number, and in 2026, residual values are telling a terrifying story about the state of the market. Remember the massive industry shift to the standardized charging port we discussed earlier. Financial institutions are not blind to this hardware obsolescence. Banks are currently artificially tanking the residual values of any leftover 2024 or 2025 electric vehicles sitting on dealership lots because they know those cars utilize the dead-end legacy charging architecture. Let us examine another case study featuring Mark from Central Florida. Mark found what looked like an unbelievable clearance deal on a brand new leftover 2025 electric truck. The dealership was offering $10,000 off the sticker price to move the obsolete inventory. However, when Mark attempted to lease the vehicle, the monthly payment was astronomically high. Why did this happen? The lending institution had dropped the residual value of that specific truck down to a catastrophic 38% after 3 years, anticipating that no one in the secondary market will want to buy a used vehicle with a defunct charging port. Because a lease payment is fundamentally just you paying for the depreciation of the vehicle during your term, Mark was being forced to finance an incredibly steep drop in value. Even with a massive upfront discount, leasing obsolete hardware in 2026 is an absolute financial disaster. You are effectively paying for the manufacturer's mistake of utilizing outdated architecture. You must only lease vehicles where the captive lender is supporting the residual value through heavily subsidized programs, and you must verify that the vehicle features the modern hardware necessary to hold its value. Furthermore, you must aggressively combat the final phase of the dealership trap, which involves forced accessory packages. Dealerships know that savvy consumers are waking up to the money factor manipulation, so they have shifted their profit centers to non-removable, highly inflated physical additions. They will pre-install nitrogen in the tires, cheap ceramic paint coatings, and GPS tracking modules before the car is even listed for sale, adding thousands of dollars to the capitalized cost. They will tell you these items cannot be removed. That is a fabricated sales tactic. You must demand the removal of the cost of these accessories from the final capitalized cost, firmly stating that you will not subsidize their inflated add-ons. But let us assume you successfully navigate this incredibly hostile financial environment. You secure the base money factor, you leverage the commercial lease loophole perfectly to your advantage, and you refuse every single predatory dealership add-on. You sign the correct paperwork, take the keys to your technologically current 2026 electric vehicle, and drive it back to your residential property. You have conquered the dealership, but you are about to hit an absolute brick wall that mainstream automotive media rarely discusses. You pull into your driveway, plug the standard level 1 charging cord into your standard household outlet, and look at the dashboard display. The screen clearly indicates that restoring your battery to a functional level will take 72 hours. Suddenly, the reality of the localized infrastructure tax hits you. You realize that integrating this vehicle into your daily life requires a massive, unregulated residential construction project that could completely wipe out every single dollar you just saved at the dealership. I am going to reveal the deeply hidden costs of residential electrical panel upgrades, the predatory pricing practices of specialized high-voltage electricians currently operating in 2026, and the exact steps you must take to audit your home before you even think about putting a deposit down on a vehicle. The harsh reality of charging an electric vehicle at your residential property in 2026 is that standard household outlets are fundamentally incapable of supporting modern transportation. When you plug a standard level 1 charging cable into a basic 120-volt wall receptacle, you are drawing roughly 12 amps of continuous current, which equates to about 1.4 kilowatts of power per hour. For a modern electric crossover equipped with a high-capacity 85 kilowatt-hour battery pack, replacing a completely depleted battery using that standard outlet will literally take over 60 hours of uninterrupted charging. This renders the vehicle entirely useless for consecutive days of heavy commuting or weekend travel. To actually utilize the vehicle as intended, you are absolutely required to upgrade your home to a level 2 charging system, which operates on a 240-volt electrical circuit. This is precisely where the hidden, catastrophic costs of electric vehicle ownership aggressively surface, and where specialized electrical contractors are leveraging unprecedented market demand to extract massive profit margins from unprepared buyers. Before you ever set foot on a dealership lot, you must conduct a rigorous, independent audit of your residential electrical infrastructure. The most critical component of this audit is your main electrical service panel. Historical trends regarding American housing construction reveal a terrifying bottleneck for the electric vehicle transition. Millions of homes constructed prior to the late 1990s were built with 100 amp or 150 amp main service panels. These panels were designed to support basic household appliances, standard lighting, and perhaps a central air conditioning unit. They were never engineered to support the massive, sustained electrical draw of a level 2 electric vehicle charger. A dedicated level 2 charging station requires a 50 amp or 60 amp double pole breaker to deliver optimal charging speeds of 9.6 to 11.5 kilowatts. If you attempt to force a new 50 amp circuit onto a legacy 100 amp panel that is already managing an electric oven, a high wattage clothes dryer, and a modern HVAC system, you are mathematically exceeding the total load capacity of your home. This is not merely a code violation, it is an extreme fire hazard. Let us examine a highly common case study that is playing out across the country this year. Consider James, a homeowner living in suburban Philadelphia. James successfully navigated the dealership process, secured a fair price on a 2026 electric sedan, and brought the vehicle home. He immediately called a local electrical contractor to install what he assumed would be a simple wall outlet in his garage. However, the moment the contractor saw the brand new electric vehicle sitting in the driveway, a phenomenon known in the industry as the electric vehicle tax was immediately applied to the estimate. The contractor opened James' main electrical panel and correctly identified that it was a maxed-out 100 amp system. The contractor informed James that a complete heavy-up service upgrade to a modern 200 amp panel was mandatory before a charger could be legally permitted. Furthermore, because James' detached garage was located 60 feet away from the main house, the contractor had to factor in the extreme 2026 market cost of heavy-gauge copper wiring, specifically 6-gauge wire capable of safely carrying continuous high-voltage loads over long distances, alongside the cost of trenching through the backyard to lay the protective conduit. The initial quote James expected for a simple outlet installation was $800. The final, legally compliant estimate presented by the electrician was $5,700. In a single afternoon, the hidden reality of residential infrastructure entirely wiped out the thousands of dollars James had meticulously saved by utilizing the federal clean vehicle tax credit. This exact scenario is trapping thousands of American buyers in a state of financial shock. The contractors are well aware that you have a vehicle sitting in your driveway that you cannot effectively drive, and they price their services according to your utter desperation. To bypass this predatory pricing structure, you must understand the alternative technological solutions that have emerged in the 2026 market. Imagine if you could completely avoid a $5,000 panel upgrade by intelligently managing the power your home is already utilizing. You do not necessarily need a massive electrical heavy-up if you deploy a smart load management device. These incredibly effective hardware solutions physically wire into your existing panel and actively monitor your home's total electrical consumption in real time. If you plug your electric vehicle in while your electric oven and clothes dryer are running, the Smart Manager will automatically throttle or temporarily pause the electrical current flowing to the garage charger to ensure your main panel never exceeds its maximum capacity. The moment the household appliances power down, full charging speed is instantly restored to the vehicle. Alternatively, you can utilize heavy-duty smart splitters that safely share the existing 240-volt circuit already running to your electric clothes dryer. By investing under $800 in these intelligent hardware solutions, you can legally and safely install level 2 charging capabilities without ever upgrading your main service panel, completely circumventing the most expensive aspect of the residential electric vehicle transition. Furthermore, you must thoroughly investigate the specific municipal permitting requirements and local utility grid constraints in your exact zip code. Local utility companies are currently utilizing advanced grid monitoring software to identify residential transformers that are being overwhelmed by the sudden influx of high-capacity electric vehicle charging. If you live in a dense suburban neighborhood where several neighbors have recently purchased electric vehicles, the localized transformer on your street may already be operating at maximum thermal capacity. Utility companies are increasingly enforcing strict notification mandates, requiring homeowners to submit detailed load calculation worksheets before they are legally permitted to activate a newly installed Level 2 charger. If your local utility determines that your charging habits will destabilize the neighborhood grid, they can legally force you to pay a portion of the commercial transformer upgrade costs, or they can mandate that you only charge during highly restricted, deep overnight hours. You must also consider the extreme volatility of time-of-use utility rates. The era of cheap, flat-rate electricity is rapidly ending in heavily populated states. Utility providers are aggressively restructuring their billing tiers, heavily penalizing consumers who attempt to charge their vehicles during peak evening hours, typically between 4 in the afternoon and 9 at night. If you simply plug your vehicle in the moment you arrive home from work without programming the internal software of the car to delay the charge until off-peak hours, you could see your monthly residential electrical bill triple. The true cost per mile of an electric vehicle is entirely dependent on your ability to actively manage and manipulate these complex utility rate structures. But let us assume you master the residential infrastructure. You successfully bypass the expensive panel upgrade using smart load management, you navigate the local permitting process, and you program your vehicle to only pull electricity during the absolute cheapest off-peak hours. You have effectively solved the charging puzzle and insulated yourself from the electrical transition costs. The very next morning, you confidently pick up the phone to call your auto insurance provider. You are simply looking to swap your old gasoline-powered vehicle for your new 2026 electric car on your existing policy. You provide the vehicle identification number to the agent, expecting a relatively standard adjustment to your 6-month premium. Instead, the agent pauses, the system processes the request, and you are hit with an insurance quote that is completely incomprehensible. The monthly premium they are demanding for your new electric vehicle is more than double what you were paying for your previous car, possessing an identical safety record and identical coverage limits. You are about to discover that the massive structural battery pack sitting beneath the floorboards of your new vehicle has triggered a catastrophic shift in actuarial risk assessment, completely rewriting the rules of automotive collision repair and total loss valuations. The core issue driving this massive spike in insurance premiums is a fundamental change in how these vehicles are physically constructed in 2026. For decades, traditional internal combustion engine vehicles were built on a standardized chassis framework. If you were involved in a minor collision, the kinetic energy was absorbed by designated crumple zones, and body shops could simply unbolt damaged steel panels, weld on replacements, and repaint the affected area. Early electric vehicles followed a somewhat similar methodology, utilizing large battery enclosures that were essentially bolted onto a traditional frame. However, the relentless pursuit of manufacturing efficiency and extended driving range has led the automotive industry to aggressively adopt structural battery pack architecture. In a modern 2026 electric vehicle, the battery enclosure is no longer just a container for energy storage. It is a load-bearing, stressed member of the vehicle's actual chassis. The lithium-ion cells are frequently glued directly into the frame using industrial-grade structural adhesives, effectively making the battery and the car a single, inseparable unit. Imagine if you are navigating a crowded grocery store parking lot on a Saturday afternoon. You are driving your brand new 2026 electric crossover, and another driver slowly backs out of their space, clipping your vehicle at less than 10 miles per hour. Visually, the damage appears entirely superficial. You see a dented rear quarter panel, a cracked taillight assembly, and some scratched paint. In a traditional vehicle, the insurance adjuster would write an estimate for $2,000, send you to a local independent body shop, and you would have your car back in a week. But with the structural battery electric vehicle, the potential outcomes of that exact same minor impact are catastrophically different. Because the battery is integrated directly into the structural framework, the kinetic force from that seemingly minor collision is instantly transferred through the chassis directly into the battery tray. Let us examine a highly representative case study featuring Robert, an architect living in Seattle, Washington. Robert experienced this exact scenario. A minor low-speed impact scraped the undercarriage of his electric sedan as he was exiting a steep commercial driveway. The visible damage was a heavily scratched plastic aerodynamic shield. However, when Robert took the vehicle to a manufacturer-certified collision center, the mandatory diagnostic protocols completely derailed his ownership experience. The strict, inflexible repair manuals issued by the automotive manufacturer clearly stated that any visible abrasion, dent, or deflection on the exterior battery casing immediately compromises the structural integrity and thermal management systems of the high-voltage pack. The body shop is strictly forbidden from opening the sealed unit to inspect the internal cells. The manufacturer simply mandates a complete, wholesale replacement of the entire battery assembly. The body shop presented Robert's insurance provider with an estimate of $28,000 for a replacement battery pack, simply because of a scraped undercarriage plate. When you combine that massive parts cost with the specialized labor rates required to drop a high-voltage system, the total repair estimate rapidly exceeded $35,000. The insurance carrier, analyzing this exorbitant cost against the depreciated actual cash value of the vehicle, immediately declared the car a total loss. Robert had his vehicle totaled over a scrape that would have cost $500 to fix on a gasoline-powered car. This is the precise historical trend that actuarial algorithms have been absorbing over the past 2 years, and it is the exact reason why your insurance agent is quoting you astronomical monthly premiums today. Insurance carriers are no longer pricing your policy based solely on your driving record. They are pricing it based on the terrifying statistical probability that even the most minor fender bender will result in a $50,000 total loss payout. Furthermore, the American collision repair industry is currently experiencing a severe bottleneck that is actively compounding these insurance costs. The specialized training required to safely interact with 400-volt and 800-volt electrical systems is immense. A technician cannot simply grab a wrench and start disassembling an electric vehicle. They must wear specialized personal protective equipment, establish high-voltage quarantine zones within the repair facility, and utilize highly calibrated diagnostic software. The vast majority of independent neighborhood body shops simply do not possess the capital to invest in this specialized infrastructure or the certified personnel to execute the repairs. Therefore, when your electric vehicle is involved in an accident, it must be towed to a heavily backlogged, manufacturer-certified collision center. This scarcity of qualified repair facilities creates a devastating secondary financial impact for the insurance companies, which is passed directly onto you. Because these certified shops are overwhelmed, the average repair cycle time for an electric vehicle in 2026 has ballooned to over 90 days. While your car sits untouched in a holding lot for 3 months waiting for a certified high-voltage technician to become available, your insurance company is forced to pay exorbitant daily storage fees. More critically, they are obligated to provide you with a rental vehicle for the duration of the repair. Standard insurance policies typically cap rental car coverage at 30 days or a maximum of $900. Once that limit is exhausted on day 31, you are suddenly paying out of pocket for a rental car for the next 60 days while your electric vehicle slowly makes its way through the repair queue. This hidden liability can easily cost a consumer thousands of unanticipated dollars, fundamentally destroying the perceived financial benefits of transitioning away from gasoline. To navigate this incredibly hostile insurance landscape, you must implement a strict, pre-purchase verification strategy. Before you ever sign a purchase agreement or a lease contract at the dealership, you must obtain the exact vehicle identification number of the specific car you intend to buy. You must call your insurance broker and explicitly ask them to run that number through their underwriting system to check the vehicle's specific repairability index. Do not accept a generic quote for that make and model. You need the granular data. You must specifically ask if the vehicle utilizes a modular battery architecture, where damaged cell modules can be individually replaced, or if it utilizes a monolithic structural pack that mandates total replacement upon impact. You must also inquire about the availability of certified repair facilities within a 50-mile radius of your primary residence. If your insurance carrier views the specific vehicle architecture as a high-risk liability, you must be prepared to walk away from the transaction, regardless of how attractive the dealership pricing might appear. But let us imagine you successfully clear this hurdle. You find a vehicle with a modular battery design, you secure a reasonable insurance premium from a carrier that understands the technology, and you finalize the purchase. You are driving home, marveling at the silent acceleration and the knowledge that you will never have to visit a gas station again. You feel completely insulated from the volatile pricing of global oil markets. However, the moment you bypass that gas station, you are triggering a massive revenue crisis for your state government. For nearly a century, American infrastructure, road maintenance and highway construction have been overwhelmingly funded by the excise taxes seamlessly embedded into every single gallon of gasoline you purchase. As millions of drivers like yourself transition to electric vehicles in 2026, the highway trust funds across the country are facing total insolvency. State legislatures are actively panicking, and they have quietly implemented aggressive, mandatory financial mechanisms to force electric vehicle owners to replace that lost revenue. I am going to expose exactly how your state government is currently tracking your mileage, the punitive annual registration fees you are about to face, and the specific legislative loopholes that are being used to tax your electric vehicle usage at a significantly higher rate than a traditional gasoline car. The fundamental financial compact of the American road, the idea that you pay for infrastructure only when you pull up to a gasoline pump, has officially fractured in 2026. For nearly a century, the federal and state governments relied on an invisible, seamless collection of cents per gallon to fund the Highway Trust Fund. But as you transition to an electric vehicle, you are effectively opting out of that taxation system, creating a multi-billion-dollar deficit that state legislatures are now aggressively closing through what many are calling the electric vehicle surcharge era. If you believe that switching to electricity means you have escaped the reach of the Department of Transportation's taxing authority, you are about to face a very expensive awakening during your next registration renewal. Currently, in 2026, we are seeing a massive acceleration in state-level legislative shifts. Historical trends over the last 2 years show that 39 states have now implemented special, mandatory registration fees specifically for plug-in vehicles. These are not small administrative costs. They are high-dollar surcharges designed to front-load years of lost gas tax revenue into a single annual payment. For example, if you are a resident of Texas in 2026, the potential outcomes for your wallet are stark. Under current regulations, a new electric vehicle registration requires a $400 initial fee, followed by a $200 annual surcharge every single year thereafter. This is in addition to your standard registration and inspection costs. When you calculate the math, you are effectively paying the equivalent of a gasoline car owner who drives 12,000 miles a year at 25 miles per gallon, regardless of whether you actually drive that much or not. Let us look at a specific case study involving a character we will call David, a retiree living in rural Pennsylvania. David bought a 2026 electric crossover specifically because he only drives about 3,000 miles a year to the grocery store and local community center. He assumed his operational costs would be near zero. However, Pennsylvania recently updated its fee structure. In 2026, the annual electric vehicle surcharge has climbed to $250, with a legislative mandate to index that fee to the Consumer Price Index starting in 2027. For David, the math is devastating. Because he drives so little, he is actually paying significantly more in road use taxes per mile than he ever did with his old gasoline-powered sedan. The state has effectively removed the incentive for low-mileage conservation, charging him a flat penalty just for owning the technology. But the flat fee model is only the first phase of this transition. In 2026, we are witnessing the controversial birth of the Vehicle Miles Travel Tax, or VMT. This is a fundamental shift from taxing fuel to taxing the actual movement of your tires across the pavement. States like Oregon and Utah have already moved beyond pilot programs into specialized, mandatory mileage-based charging for electric vehicle owners. Imagine if, instead of a flat fee, your state required you to report your odometer reading every 12 months, or worse, required a cellular-connected plug-in device that tracks your location and mileage in real time. In Oregon, the Origio program has set a 2026 rate of 2.3 cents per mile. While that sounds like a small number, let us examine the reality for a high-mileage commuter like Maria, who lives in the suburbs of Portland. Maria drives 22,000 miles a year for her sales job. At 2.3 cents per mile, Maria is hit with a $506 road usage bill at the end of the year. This creates a massive lump sum tax liability that most American families are not prepared to handle during their annual registration month. Furthermore, the privacy implications are causing a firestorm of debate in state capitals. To participate in these mileage programs, you often have to grant the government or a third-party vendor access to your vehicle's telematics data. You are essentially trading your location privacy for a slightly more granular taxation model. The situation becomes even more complex when you realize that some states are now doubling down with weight-based fees. Historical trends in automotive engineering show that electric vehicles, due to their massive battery packs, weigh significantly more than their gasoline counterparts. A modern 2026 electric pickup truck can easily exceed 8,000 pounds. States like Georgia and New Jersey have begun implementing tiered registration structures where the heavier your vehicle is, the more you pay for road wear and tear. If you purchased a large, long-range electric SUV in 2026, you could be facing a registration bill that is 3 to 4 times higher than what your neighbor pays for a similar-sized gasoline vehicle. This brings us to a critical, hidden loophole that dealerships never mention: the charging tax. 9 states have already passed legislation in 2026 to tax the electricity coming out of public fast-charging stations. These are often structured as a cents per kilowatt-hour fee, effectively mimicking the old gas tax at the pump. If you live in an apartment and rely entirely on public infrastructure, you are being hit from 3 different directions. You are paying the inflated commercial rate for electricity, you are paying the state's specialized charging tax, and you are still paying the massive annual registration surcharge. In many jurisdictions, the state is effectively double taxing your road use, once through the registration office and again at the charging pedestal. To protect yourself from these potential outcomes, you must perform a state-specific tax audit before you choose your vehicle's battery size and weight class. You need to look up your state's House or Senate transportation bills from the last session. Many states have passed staircase increases that are pre-scheduled to jump every July 1st through 2030. If you are budgeting for a 5-year car loan, you cannot assume your registration costs will remain flat. You must calculate the 5-year total of these surcharges, weighing them against the projected fuel savings. In some high-tax states, the road use fees alone can erase up to 40% of your anticipated energy savings. But let us assume you have factored in the taxes, the insurance, and the home charging. You are finally ready to take the car on its first major American road trip. You have mapped out the chargers, you have the apps downloaded, and you have the standardized NACS adapter in your trunk just in case. You pull up to a high-speed charging plaza in the middle of a July heat wave, expecting a quick 20-minute stop. But as you plug in, the screen shows a charging speed that is barely faster than a home outlet. You look around and see 10 other frustrated drivers staring at their dashboards. You are about to learn the cold, hard truth about the American power grid's summer throttling and the phenomenon of the broken stall epidemic that is currently crippling the 2026 travel season. I am going to show you the secret reliability data the charging networks try to hide, and the exact 3 words you need to look for on a charging station's display to know if you should stay or flee to the next exit. The 3 words you must look for on any public charging pedestal before you even consider initiating a session in 2026 are derated power delivery. If you see those words or any variation of power sharing active on the display, you are standing in front of a system that is fundamentally incapable of delivering the performance you paid for. This is the hidden crisis of the 2026 travel season. The infrastructure is there, but the grid behind it is gasping for air. As we have seen in historical trends over the last 24 months, the sheer volume of electric vehicles on American highways during peak holiday travel periods has begun to exceed the thermal and electrical capacity of localized utility substations. Imagine if you are driving your family through the Mojave Desert in July. The exterior temperature is 112 degrees. You pull into a state-of-the-art charging hub that was supposedly upgraded last year. You expect 350 kilowatts of power, which should get you back on the road in 18 minutes. But because every other stall is occupied and the local utility has triggered a peak demand curtailment event to prevent a regional blackout, the station is only delivering 30 kilowatts. Your 18-minute stop has just transformed into a 3-hour survival exercise in triple-digit heat. This is not a mechanical failure of the car. It is a systemic failure of the integrated American energy landscape. In 2026, the potential outcomes for your road trip are dictated by a concept known as the Station Reliability Index. While the major charging networks aggressively market their 99% uptime, internal industry data tells a much more localized and distressing story. We are seeing case studies where charging stalls are technically online but are functionally broken. They will communicate with your vehicle, they will authorize your credit card, but they will fail to initiate the high-voltage handshake, or they will trip a thermal sensor the moment the current hits 200 amps. In many high-traffic corridors, the actual functional uptime, meaning the ability to deliver at least 80% of the advertised speed, is closer to 75%. Let us look at a specific case study featuring a character named Kevin, an engineer from Denver who attempted a winter trip to Kansas City in early 2026. Kevin relied on the primary charging app provided by his vehicle manufacturer. The app showed 5 available stalls at a major highway rest stop. When Kevin arrived in sub-zero temperatures, He found that 3 of the 5 stalls were physically blocked by snow piles because the site host had failed to pay for specialized snow removal. The remaining 2 stalls were occupied by vehicles that had been sitting there for hours because their owners had abandoned them to seek warmth in a nearby diner. Kevin was left with 0% battery, no available plugs, and a vehicle that was rapidly losing cabin heat. This highlights a critical oversight in the American electric vehicle transition. We have built the chargers, but we have not yet built the service-level agreements to maintain them during extreme weather events. Furthermore, we must address the 2026 phenomenon of the software handshake failure. As every major automaker in the United States transitions to the North American charging standard, we are seeing a massive influx of software compatibility issues. Even though the physical plug fits, the digital communication between a legacy 2023 vehicle and a brand new 2026 high-speed dispenser is often riddled with bugs. We are seeing historical trends where certain vehicle models will unexpectedly trigger a safety lockout at specific brands of chargers, requiring a full system hard reset of the car that can take 10 minutes. If you are not familiar with the specific reboot sequence for your vehicle's infotainment and battery management system, a simple software glitch can leave you stranded at a perfectly functional charger. To navigate this successfully, you must look beyond the manufacturer-provided apps. In 2026, the most valuable tool in your arsenal is peer-to-peer reliability data. You should be utilizing independent platforms where real-time drivers post the actual charging curves they achieved in the last 60 minutes. If the last 3 drivers at a station reported a max speed of 50 kilowatts at a 300 kilowatt station, do not stop there. You must also learn to read the hardware. Look for signs of cable cooling failure. In 2026, high-speed chargers use liquid-cooled cables to manage the immense heat of a 300 amp flow. If you hear a loud, grinding fan noise from the pedestal or see any sign of fluid leakage near the base, that station is likely thermal throttling. It will start fast, but within 90 seconds, the internal sensors will detect overheating and slash your charging speed to protect the hardware, doubling your wait time. This brings us to the predatory pricing models of the 2026 charging market. As the federal subsidies for station installation have dried up, private charging networks have shifted toward aggressive revenue extraction. We are seeing the rise of congestion pricing. Just like Uber's surge pricing, certain networks are now doubling the price per kilowatt hour during peak afternoon hours. You might pay 40 cents at 3 in the morning, but by 2 in the afternoon, that same electricity costs 85 cents. When you add in the idle fees, which can reach $1 per minute the moment your charging hits 80%, a single road trip charge can easily cost more than a full tank of premium gasoline. Consider a case study involving Sarah, a freelance photographer in Chicago. Sarah recently took a trip to Nashville. Because she did not pre-calculate her stops based on off-peak utility rates, she ended up paying $64 for a single charging session at a premium urban hub. For her small electric hatchback, that equates to a higher cost per mile than a massive heavy-duty diesel truck. The illusion of cheap electric travel is only a reality for those who have mastered the art of charging rate arbitrage. You must become an expert at reading the fine print of the charging network memberships, as many now require a monthly subscription fee just to access the rates that were previously free to everyone. But let us assume you are an expert. You have the apps, you know the thermal cooling signs, and you only charge during off-peak windows. You have successfully navigated the physical infrastructure. You are back on the road, cruising silently toward your destination. You look at your dashboard and you notice something strange. Your estimated range is dropping twice as fast as the actual miles you are driving. You check the wind, it is calm. You check the terrain, it is flat. You are about to encounter the final and perhaps most controversial hurdle of 2026 electric vehicle ownership: the rapid degradation of the aerodynamic efficiency of your tires and the massive environmental impact of electric vehicle-specific rubber compounds. I am going to reveal why your 2026 electric vehicle is eating through tires at 3 times the rate of a gasoline car, and the shocking truth about the secret warranty exclusions that tire manufacturers have quietly added to their 2026 catalogs. Imagine if you are Mark, a high school teacher living in the searing heat of Phoenix, Arizona, in 2026. You have owned your stylish, high-performance electric sedan for exactly 14 months. You have meticulously followed the manufacturer's service schedule, and you pride yourself on your efficient driving habits. One morning, as you are performing a routine walk-around of your vehicle, you notice a disturbing smoothness on the outer edge of your front tires. You reach down to check the tread depth and realize with a sinking feeling that the wear bars are already flush with the surface. Your tires are functionally bald at just 15,000 miles. You assume this must be a manufacturing defect, a fluke that will be easily resolved by a quick trip to the tire shop where you expect a prorated replacement under the 60,000-mile treadwear warranty you remember seeing on the marketing materials. However, as Mark pulls into the specialized tire service center, the technician delivers a reality check that has become the defining experience for thousands of American electric vehicle owners this year. The technician explains that your vehicle, which weighs nearly 6,000 pounds due to its massive 98 kilowatt-hour battery pack, has been exerting a level of physical stress on that rubber that no internal combustion engine vehicle of a similar size could ever replicate. In 2026, the potential outcomes for your maintenance budget are being dictated by the laws of physics, weight and instant torque. Because an electric motor can deliver 100% of its twisting force the millisecond you touch the pedal, every single stoplight departure acts like a piece of industrial-grade sandpaper being dragged across the asphalt. Historical trends over the past 24 months show that electric vehicles are consuming their original equipment tires between 20 and 40% faster than their gasoline counterparts. Mark asks the technician to simply pull up the warranty claim. This is where the shocking truth about the secret 2026 warranty exclusions is revealed. The technician points to the fine print in the updated 2026 catalogs from major global tire manufacturers. Almost every major brand has quietly added a specific clause that entirely excludes or severely limits mileage guarantees for tires installed on electric vehicles. They argue that the combination of high mass loads and instantaneous torque represents a severe service application, much like a commercial delivery van or a racing vehicle. If you cannot provide meticulous records of tire rotations performed every 5,000 miles at a certified facility, or if the wear pattern shows even the slightest sign of high torque acceleration, your 60,000-mile warranty is effectively worthless. Mark is looking at a bill for $1,600 for a new set of 4 tires, a cost he had not planned to incur for another 3 years. You must understand that in 2026, you cannot simply go to a discount warehouse and buy the cheapest set of tires that fit your rims. If you attempt to save money by installing standard tires designed for a gasoline car, you are creating a dangerous and inefficient situation. Modern electric vehicles require a specific engineering designation known as the high load or HL rating. These tires are constructed with reinforced sidewalls and specialized internal belts, designed to maintain their shape under the immense vertical pressure of a 3-ton vehicle cornering at highway speeds. Furthermore, because electric vehicles operate in near silence, tire manufacturers have had to integrate a thick layer of specialized acoustic foam directly inside the tire cavity to dampen the resonance of the road. If you install standard rubber without this foam, the cabin of your once silent vehicle will suddenly be filled with a deafening, high-pitched road drone that makes conversation nearly impossible. This brings us to the environmental paradox of 2026. While you are driving a vehicle with zero tailpipe emissions, you are contributing to a rapidly escalating crisis of non-exhaust particulate matter. Case studies from leading environmental research institutions this year have confirmed that tire wear is now a primary source of microplastic pollution in American waterways. As your tires wear down 3 times faster, they are shedding pounds of synthetic rubber, carbon black, and chemical stabilizers directly into the environment. One specific chemical, known as 6-ppd-quinone, which is used to prevent tire rubber from cracking, has been linked to massive die-offs in salmon populations across the Pacific Northwest. In response, several California municipalities are already discussing a localized tire pollution tax that could be added to every tire purchase in late 2026, further increasing the cost of keeping your vehicle on the road. To navigate this successfully, you must fundamentally change how you treat the accelerator pedal. You need to look into your vehicle's software settings and identify if there is a chill mode or a range mode that electronically dampens the initial torque delivery. By smoothing out your acceleration, you can potentially extend the life of your tires by several thousand miles. You must also become obsessive about tire pressure. Because of the extreme weight of the battery pack, running even 5 pounds per square inch below the manufacturer's recommendation will cause the tire to generate excessive internal heat, leading to a catastrophic structural failure of the sidewall. In 2026, a simple pothole that would have merely caused a jarring bump in a gasoline car can easily result in a total tire blowout in a heavy electric vehicle because the compressed air simply has nowhere to go. But the tire crisis is merely the physical manifestation of a much deeper, more insidious shift in automotive ownership that has fully matured in 2026. You might think that once you have paid for your car, navigated the insurance, and replaced your tires, you finally own the vehicle and all its capabilities. You are mistaken. As you sit in your driveway, staring at your high-definition infotainment screen, a notification pops up. It informs you that your heated seat functionality has expired and requires a $29 monthly subscription to reactivate. You realize that the hardware is physically there, you paid for it at the dealership, but it has been digitally locked behind a corporate paywall. We are entering the era of the software-defined vehicle trap, where the features you use every day are no longer permanent parts of the car, but rather temporary digital rentals that can be revoked at any moment. I am going to reveal the specific manufacturers who are leading this charge, the secret ways they are tracking your in-car data to sell to advertisers, and the one physical button you must look for in the cabin to know if your privacy is being systematically harvested for profit. In 2026, the very definition of automotive ownership has undergone a silent digital transformation. When you sign the final paperwork and drive your new electric vehicle off the lot, you are no longer just taking possession of a mechanical machine. You are entering into a software-as-a-service agreement. This is the era of the software-defined vehicle, or SDV. In this landscape, the physical hardware of your car, the heating elements in your seats, the high-fidelity speakers in your doors, and even the maximum output of your electric motors, is merely a dormant baseline. The manufacturer retains the digital keys to unlock the performance and comfort you assumed you already paid for. Imagine if you are Alex, a graphic designer in Chicago who recently purchased a certified pre-owned 2026 electric SUV. On a frigid November morning, you settle into the driver's seat and reach for the heated seat button. You press it, but instead of warmth, a sleek notification appears on your central touchscreen. It informs you that the heated comfort package has expired and requires a $25 monthly subscription, or a one-time lifetime activation fee of $500 to function. You look at the window sticker from the original sale, which clearly lists heated seats as an included feature. But because the automotive industry in 2026 has pivoted to a model where features follow the subscriber rather than the chassis, the previous owner's subscription did not transfer to you. You are sitting on the physical hardware, but the software has effectively bricked your comfort until you provide a credit card number. Historical trends over the last few years have shown that manufacturers are becoming increasingly sophisticated in how they mask these microtransactions. While the industry faced a massive public relations backlash in the early 2020s for charging for basic hardware like heated seats, they have rebranded these efforts in 2026 as functions on demand. They are no longer just paywalling comfort, they are paywalling performance. We are seeing case studies from major German and American automakers where the exact same electric motor is installed in every vehicle, but the actual horsepower and acceleration are digitally throttled. If you want the advertised 0 to 60 time of 4 seconds instead of 6 seconds, you must subscribe to a performance boost tier for $60 a month. If you stop paying, the manufacturer sends an over-the-air signal that literally makes your car slower overnight. This digital tether extends far beyond your seat heaters and motor output. In 2026, the most valuable commodity your vehicle produces is not transportation, but data. Your electric vehicle is essentially a high-speed data center on wheels, equipped with dozens of sensors, high-resolution cameras, and constant cellular connectivity. Every time you accelerate, every time you brake, and every GPS coordinate you visit is being meticulously logged. Manufacturers are no longer just car companies. They have transformed into data brokers. Historical trends in 2026 indicate that the automotive data monetization market has ballooned into a billion-dollar industry. Your driving habits are being packaged and sold to insurance companies to refine their actuarial models, while your location data is sold to retail conglomerates to track how often you visit a specific coffee shop or grocery store. The potential outcomes for your privacy are deeply concerning. Many 2026 models now feature cabin-facing cameras designed for driver fatigue monitoring. While marketed as a safety feature, these cameras utilize sophisticated facial recognition and biometric analysis. They can track your eye movements, your heart rate, and even your emotional state based on your facial expressions. If the internal software detects that you are looking at a billboard for a fast food chain, it can trigger a localized advertisement or a coupon to appear on your dashboard screen 10 minutes later. You are being profiled in real time within the supposedly private confines of your own vehicle. However, as the public has become more aware of this systematic harvesting of personal information, a new competitive battleground has emerged in the 2026 market: the privacy-first architecture. There is one specific physical component you must look for in the cabin of any 2026 vehicle: to determine if the manufacturer respects your autonomy. You must look for a physical camera shutter or a dedicated privacy kill switch button, often located near the rearview mirror or integrated into the infotainment bezel. In response to mounting legislative pressure in states like California and New York, some manufacturers have begun installing a physical hardware disconnect that literally cuts the power to the cabin cameras and microphones. If a vehicle lacks this physical button and relies solely on a software menu to disable tracking, you must assume that the data harvesting is never truly turned off. Furthermore, we must address the hidden cost of the 2026 connectivity mandate. Almost every new electric vehicle this year requires a premium data plan to access basic navigation, real-time charging station availability, and over-the-air security patches. While many manufacturers offer a one-year trial, the historical trends show that these plans typically renew at $15 to $30 a month. If you let this subscription lapse, your car does not just lose its music streaming. It loses its ability to intelligently precondition the battery for fast charging. Without a data connection, the car cannot communicate with the charging network to start the thermal management process as you approach a station, which we have already established can double your charging time. The vehicle is designed to be functionally degraded if you are not a recurring subscriber. The secondary market impact of this software-defined model is creating a massive divide in the used car space. In 2026, when you go to trade in your electric vehicle, the dealership is no longer just evaluating the mileage and the paint condition. They are performing a digital audit of the vehicle's permanently unlocked features versus its subscription-based features. A used car with a lifetime unlock performance pack is worth thousands more than an identical car that relies on monthly payments. But here is the trap. Some manufacturers are now attempting to implement a feature reset policy. When the car is sold to a new owner, the manufacturer remotely wipes all the previous owner's permanent software purchases, forcing the second buyer to pay for those features all over again. This practice, currently being challenged in multiple class action lawsuits, could potentially destroy the resale value of entire vehicle lineups overnight. To protect yourself from these potential outcomes, you must demand a certified digital feature report during the negotiation process. This document, which is becoming a standard requirement for savvy 2026 buyers, lists every single hardware-bound feature and explicitly states whether its activation is permanent for the life of the chassis or tied to a recurring subscription. If the salesperson cannot or will not provide a legally binding digital feature report, you must walk away. You are not just buying a car, you are negotiating the terms of a long-term digital lease. But even if you master the software subscriptions, identify the privacy kill switch, and secure a permanent feature set, you are still facing the final, most significant hurdle of the 2026 electric vehicle market. Everything we have discussed, the charging port standards, the battery chemistry, the insurance spikes, the road use taxes, and the software paywalls, all converges at a single point: the moment you decide to sell or trade your vehicle 3 to 5 years from now. We are currently witnessing the early stages of an automotive death spiral that could leave millions of Americans holding the keys to assets that are mathematically impossible to sell. I am going to reveal the terrifying reality of the 2026 wholesale auction markets, the secret battery health certificates that are now mandatory for any trade-in, and the exact 3-step checklist you must follow to ensure your vehicle does not become a $50,000 paperweight by the end of the decade. In 2026, the final and most decisive hurdle of your electric vehicle journey occurs at the moment of exit. Whether you are looking to trade in your vehicle for a newer model with next-generation solid-state chemistry, or simply trying to sell it on the private market, you are entering a wholesale valuation environment that has become ruthlessly data-driven. The days of a used car manager simply walking around your vehicle, checking the tire tread, and looking for paint scratches are officially over. In the current market, the physical condition of your car is secondary to its digital health, specifically its state of health or so. Imagine if you are David, a resident of Charlotte, North Carolina, who has owned a popular electric crossover for 3 years. David has kept the interior pristine and only has 30,000 miles on the odometer. He expects a high trade-in value based on traditional automotive depreciation models. However, when the dealership plugs their advanced diagnostic scanner into his vehicle's data port, the potential outcomes for his equity take a sharp turn. The scanner, utilizing the 2026 industry standard battery health algorithms, reveals that David's battery pack has a state of health of 82%. Despite the low mileage, the battery has degraded significantly faster than the national average. The reason for this discrepancy is revealed in the vehicle's permanent charging log. David, wanting to always be prepared, utilized high-speed DC fast chargers nearly 80% of the time, even when charging at home would have been sufficient. Historical trends in 2026 data analysis show that vehicles frequently subjected to high-voltage fast charging can experience an additional 1 to 2% of annual degradation compared to those charged primarily on Level 2 systems. Because a battery replacement on this specific model costs over $15,000, the dealership immediately slashes David's trade-in offer by $6,000. His pristine, low-mileage vehicle has become a financial liability because he lacked a data-driven charging strategy. To avoid this exact scenario, American buyers in 2026 are now required to maintain what is known as a battery health certificate. This is an independent, third-party diagnostic report from providers like Avalue or Recurrent that provides an objective, transparent score of your battery's remaining capacity and cell balance. In the 2026 used market, an electric vehicle without a verified, high-scoring health certificate is treated with extreme suspicion by both dealerships and private buyers. It is the equivalent of trying to sell a gasoline car with a check engine light on and no oil change records. If your certificate shows a state of health between 90 and 100%, your vehicle will command a premium. If it falls below 80%, you are entering the investigate and negotiate zone, where the value of your car begins to collapse toward its scrap or second life stationary storage value. This leads us to the essential 3-step checklist you must follow to ensure your vehicle does not become an unsellable paperweight by the end of the decade. First, you must implement a strict charging discipline from day one. Case studies of high-mileage electric vehicles that have maintained over 95% health show a consistent pattern. The owners rarely let the battery drop below 20% and seldom charged it above 80% for daily use, reserving the full 100% only for rare long-distance trips. Furthermore, they minimize the use of public fast chargers to less than 15% of their total energy intake. By documenting this discipline through your vehicle's integrated app or a third-party logger, you are creating a digital paper trail that justifies a higher resale price. Second, you must perform an independent battery audit at least once a year. Do not rely solely on the state of charge percentage shown on your dashboard. That number is often a smooth, software-generated estimate. A professional 2026 diagnostic scan will look at the individual voltage deltas between cell modules and the internal resistance of the pack. If you catch a drifting cell early while the vehicle is still under its federally mandated 8-year or 100,000-mile battery warranty, you can demand a warranty repair or module replacement before the degradation becomes permanent and non-reimbursable. Third, you must resolve the software subscription transferability before you list the vehicle for sale. As we established, many 2026 features are tied to the user account, not the car. You must contact the manufacturer and obtain a formal statement on which features will persist for the next owner. If your $500 software unlocked heated seats or your $1,000 advanced driver assistance package will be wiped upon resale, you must price the vehicle accordingly. Conversely, if you have permanent, transferable features, these must be highlighted as a core value proposition in your listing. The 2026 American automotive market is no longer a place for the uninformed. The transition to electric mobility has moved past the era of early adopter enthusiasm and into the era of cold, hard financial reality. The winners in this new landscape are those who treat their vehicle not just as a mode of transport, but as a sophisticated energy storage asset that requires active management. By understanding the charging port transitions, the chemical differences in battery packs, the hidden infrastructure costs, the shifting insurance actuarial models, and the reality of software-defined ownership, you have equipped yourself with the knowledge to navigate this volatility. If you are standing on a dealership lot today, or if you are browsing used listings online, remember that the sticker price is only the beginning of the equation. You are looking at a machine that is inextricably linked to a rapidly evolving electrical grid, a shifting legislative tax environment, and a digital ecosystem that is constantly trying to monetize your every move. But with the data we have explored today, you can bypass the predatory traps, leverage the available incentives correctly, and select a vehicle that will actually serve your needs well into the 2030s. The open loop of the American road is still there, but the rules of the journey have been rewritten. You now possess the masterclass level insights needed to stay ahead of the curve, protect your household's financial future, and drive into the 2026 landscape with total confidence. The era of the electric vehicle isn't just coming. It is here, and you are finally ready for it.